Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Hi students, welcome to the BBA lecture series at Chaitanya Studio of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. Today we will learn the Unit 3 Emotional Intelligence at Workplace of Block 3 is Block 3 Coaching, Motivation and Emotion. Let's see the objective of this session. We will study the definition of emotional intelligence. Next, we will see the importance of EQ for managers. Number 3, we will see the EQ competencies, and lastly, we will see the strategies to become emotionally intelligent. What do you mean by emotional intelligence? Today, you must have here the qualities needed for a good leader is emotional intelligence. You must have seen, you must have observed during the interview, people, the organization look for emotional intelligent leaders, boss, employees. What is emotional intelligence? We will study in this session. To begin with, emotions are the main drivers in the life. It encourages us to think, act and feel in a particular direction. The ability to recognize as well as manage the emotions. This concept was invented by Daniel Goleman that deals with understanding our own emotions as well as of those around us. This theory deals with understanding the emotions, their effect on others and how they can be controlled. Issues like interpersonal conflicts, egos, politics, etc. can be handled by understanding the emotion of self as well as that of others. This concept is fast gaining in the corporate world. It enables a person to use his emotions intelligently. It helps in building sound relation for a long time. Next, we will see what is emotional intelligence. The theory of emotional intelligence first originated in the year 1970s, though the research work of psychologists Howard Gardner, John Jack, Mayer and Peter Solvay. The definition of emotional intelligence is the innate potential to feel, use, communicate, recognize, remember, describe, identify, learn from, manage, understand and explain emotions. The concept of emotional intelligence gained importance from the book written by Daniel Goleman titled Emotional Intelligence: Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. A study of emotions of self as well as others and dealing with them for positive results gained recognition in the organization's development and interpersonal relationship. It is now considered as an essential leadership quality, as I have mentioned in the beginning that emotional intelligence is very essential quality of a leader to connect with the employees. It is also important in our personal life as well to connect in social life. Let's see next. Emotional intelligence consists of the four following dimensions. We will see the four dimensions one by one. Number one is self-awareness. It refers to understanding your own self. Self-awareness means what? To understanding your own self. It includes understanding of behavior, reflexes and thoughts while dealing with others. Number 2, social awareness. Social awareness is considering what other people feels. It is very important in our daily life as well to understand what other people feel, because without understanding that emotion we sometimes keeps speaking on, keep continuous shows our anger to the opposite one. So considering what other people feels, managing their emotions to lead them is the required direction. Number 3 is self-management. Managing own emotions like stress, anger, excitement, etc. as per the situation and using them for better performance, because if we are angry and we speak something negative to our boss, to our leader, it will automatically reduce our image, it will automatically raise the conflict. So it is very important to manage own emotions like stress, anger and excitement, etc. Number 4 is relationship management. Relationship management means managing interpersonal relationship through unbiased handling of behaviors at workplace. The leader has to handle the issues unbiasedly. We will see this in our next diagram. This is the model given by Daniel Goleman of emotional intelligence. We have studied all 4 dimensions. This number 1 quadrant, number 1 is self-awareness, number 2 is social awareness, number 3 is self-management and number 4 is relationship management. This diagram, this figure we have already studied in our earlier slides. This is just to show you how he has built the model. Why is emotional intelligence so important? Because EQ builds leader skills and competencies. Tools to assist in the leadership development process such as workshop, 360-degree index for emotional intelligence, certification, resources, etc. guide the organization and create high performance culture. Next, it helps an individual leaders to understand his or her purpose and how it connects with the organization's vision. Next, if we neglect these dimensions, then it will be like building a house without laying the foundation. So these 4 dimensions need to be understood, need to be applied. It helps leaders and organizations align their stated values and their practiced value. Most often the leader's intentions and values are good, but sometimes emotional reaction causes behaviors that can seem inconsistent. Various reasons that make EQ important are: number 1, it helps in self-management. How? We will see one by one. Number 1, it leads to understanding our reflexes and reactions more deeply. To understand own reflexes and emotions, which is very important. So it helps in self-management. It makes you more calm. If you understand your emotions, it makes you calm, peaceful. Keep watching, keeping a watch on impulsive behaviors also. Sometimes we react impulsively. Impulsively, like work, if we see the situation, work pressure in marketing, you must have observed work pressure. There, during those pressure time, during those period, if you have any family issue, if you have any dispute between your colleague, then you will react impulsively. So this emotional intelligence is very important. It helps in self management. Number 2, enhance intelligence. Emotional intelligence always enhance the intelligence of a human, of a person, of an employee. Efforts towards understanding the psychology of self as well as others and managing it, you tend to raise your intelligence level. Emotional intelligence is directly affects our abilities to analyze, represent, recommend and reasons. It's a mind activity that ultimately makes us more intelligent. If you are calm, you will be able to take the right decision. So you have to understand your emotions so that you will be able to handle it, you will be able to manage it. Next is number 3, useful in understanding others' mindset. Emotional intelligence helps in assessing what's going on in others' mind, how they will react and what are the reasons of their reactions. It gives an opportunity to raise our mental abilities regarding sociology and psychological factors affecting human behaviors. Here, this helps us to understand the reasons of the conflict. It will help us to resolve. In our personal life also, emotional intelligence always helps us to understand the issues of our family members, our partners, our beloveds or our friends. So, it is very useful in understanding others' mindset. Number 4 is helps in understanding the important role of emotions at workplace. Emotion plays a significant role in framing an organization culture, because failing to do leads to the fail in achievement of the goal. At the same time, emotions are an important tool that is utilized by different people for different purpose. When to be aggressive, when to control anger, etc. are important points that you should consider in your professional behaviors, because right reaction is very important in an organization. Failing to do so will leads to a huge loss, will leads to a issue between a boss with colleagues. For an example, being too much emotional or crying, sometime we must have observed our colleagues started crying on any issues. This shows the negativity of the employee. So, it should be avoided, are considered as a negative quality of a personality. This is the diagram. It shows the high low emotional intelligence. The low emotional intelligence peoples are aggressive, demanding, egotistical, bossy, confrontational. They are easy distracted, glib, selfish, poor listener, impulsive. They are also resistant to change. They are passive, unresponsive, slow, stubborn. They are critical, picky, fussy, hard to please and perfectionist, whereas high emotional intelligence people are assertive, ambitious, driving, strong-willed, decisive, warm, enthusiastic, sociable, charming, persuasive. They are also patient, stable, predictable, consistent. They are good listeners. They are detailed. They are careful also. They are meticulous, systematic and neat. Next, we will see using emotional intelligence to become personally competent. Emotional intelligence is a subject that is gaining importance in the corporate world, as I have explained you in the beginning of this session. Nowadays, organizations are looking for the emotional intelligence. It is equally useful in other side of life. In other side of life, as I have explained, in our personal life also, it is very important. There are many tools that can be used to enhance your emotion intelligence. Some points that should be followed to enhance the emotional intelligence in work and other social settings. We will see one by one. Number one is conduct self-evaluation. What do this means? This means useful to analyze. It is useful to analyze your weaknesses and constraints. Next is self-reinforcement. You can gain confidence by looking at your past accomplishment. If you are upset, if you feel nervous, then you should look your awards. You should have a glance of your certificates which you have achieved in your early days. It will automatically motivate you. It will automatically motivate you and it will help you to overcome the current emotions. Look at your previous medals, appreciation letters, report cards, etc. and feel rejuvenate. As I said, it will automatically motivate you with a fresh energy and enthusiasm to work better and harder. Number 3 is receive accountability. You must check this point. In your case, in case you hurt someone, you should be able to freely apologize and face the result. It is very important because 90% of people do not accept their faults, do not accept their mistakes. So, here you have to check. Are you able to face adverse situation or you prefer avoiding such situations directly? It is known truth that if you honestly finds to rectify your mistakes, people is more willing to forgive you or forget the mistakes. So, you need to check. Number 4, track your reaction. How you handle the judgments. These are the questions I have put. How do you handle the judgments? Do you rush to take decision or make an image of someone or take time to investigate the details? Are you able to keep track of your emotions while interacting with others? Are you able to empathize with others' problems, needs and situation, or simply put your point? Here this is very important because we must have observed, you must have observed the colleagues, the friends, those who rush to put their points, those who are less bothered to understand your emotions, those who are less bothered to understand your feelings, and without understanding the situation, they keeps on pointing, they keeps on asking you for their advice, they keeps on put their advice in front of you, they keeps on neglecting, they keeps on ignoring your issues, your point. So this is very important. Number 5, practice modesty. What do you mean by modesty? Modesty refers to being humble with others and recognizing others' contribution, as well as giving other opportunity to grow and shine. A person with humility should not be mistaken as underconfident. It is a quality that creates an environment of mutual coexistence. Number 6 is track your reactions to stressful condition. You should practice this. You can simply practice in your day-to-day life. You should keep tracking your emotions in your day-to-day life. It will give you the answer whether you will able to handle the emotional situations or not. Can you handle yourself when you are upset or tense? Number 2, how far can you control your reflexes? Do you portray patience in case of delay or rejection? If anyone's reject you, if any result comes late, the time which you have expected, how is your emotions? These are the questions which you can practice in your day-to-day life. Do you blame others for your problems? You must have observed in your day-to-day life. You must have seen the people who keeps on blaming others for their own problems, for their situations, rather than checking their own issues, checking the points where they missed the train. They keeps on blaming others. So you need to check, do you blame others for your problems? Emotional intelligence, competence for workplace success. Here I have put 10 points which is very important for your competences at workplace. Number 1 is self appreciation. Whatever you do, appreciate yourself. Failing to do so demotivate you and will leads to the failure, will leads to the conflict. So you need to understand, you need to appreciate yourself. Number 2 is check emotional self awareness. You have to check. Number 3 is assertiveness. You have to be assertive. You have to be very straightforward. Number 4 is independence. Number 5 is self actualization. Self actualization we have studied in the lecture of motivation, Herzberg theory, and in Maslow theory we have studied this point, self actualization. Number 6 is empathy. Empathy, as I have taught you earlier, why empathy is very important. Number 7 is social responsibility. The employee should take, the individual should take the social responsibility. Number 8 is interpersonal relationship, which is very important to work in an organization. Number 9 is stress tolerance. You have to tolerate your stress, you have to manage your stress. Number 10 is impulse control. You have to. Let's sum up. Today what we have studied in our session is emotional intelligence is ability of understanding and managing emotions of own self and that of others. We need to understand ourselves, we need to understand our emotions as well as the emotions of others. Next is, it is an important topic dealing with self management and self exploration. we need to manage ourselves, and we need to explore also to reach to achieve the success in our life. We have also learned about the techniques of enhancing your emotional intelligence and how we can manage the people. Next, life self assessment, keeping track of your emotions and how they are affecting your behaviors with others. Failing to do so will leads to issues, will leads to the problems in our organization, will leads to the failure of success in at workplace. So, like self assessment, keeping track of your own emotions, as I have taught you earlier, you need to keep tracking, you need to ask the questions which I have already shown to you on your daily basis, so that you will be able to judge yourself. This unit discuss the competencies like assertiveness, empathy, tolerance that increases you understanding of others. This unit is very useful as you can now understand others' problems, state of mind and other personal. This will help you. Emotional intelligence will help you in changing your behaviors as per the situation. Emotional intelligence is considered as an essential personality trait in leaders and HR professional. So, students, now we come to end of this session. I hope you have enjoyed a lot. Thank you.
स्वाध्यायः परमः